Okay, so welcome. I am Margie Remmers-Davis, and this is the live stream that we hold every week inside of our free Facebook group, the QBO Gym Locker Room. And for some reason today, we're having all sorts of technical difficulties, so I don't know what the heck is going on. But this is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. We're all about hands-on, 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 and as a member of the QBO Gym, you get a free Getting Started course, which teaches you how to get your free QBOA account, how to navigate it, the terminology that you can use around that, and some simple exercises to get you acclimated to using QuickBooks Online. Speaking of exercises, as a member of the locker room, you also have access to over 100 free exercises. And people are always asking me where to find those. And so I always like to point out that right here inside the Facebook group, in the featured section, there is a post that says, "Welcome to the locker room." And inside that post is the link to the 100 free exercises. You also should have, when you join the locker room, gotten a welcome to the locker room email with that link. So if you didn't get the email, then reach out to us and we can at support@fasteasyqbo.com, and we can look into why you might be not getting emails. So there's people do typos, or they opt out without realizing it, or maybe you're bouncing, or all sorts of things other than the regular spam and all that stuff. Okay, so you get 100 free exercises. You also get a free exercise of the week, and you get to participate in these weekly live streams where you can follow along. So the exercise of the week is a feature of our QBO Gym. The QBO Gym is a subscription product where you can get hands-on practice in a lifelike, realistic simulation of having a client. So if you have never had a client and you would like to see what it's like to be a bookkeeper, if you would just like practice, you can sign up for our free gym challenge. So you can get the first month free, and you can actually see what it's like to be a bookkeeper. And then, of course, if you continue on, you get an entire year of working through different lifelike scenarios. Something is always happening in the business owner's world that you need to actually do in QuickBooks Online. It's all hands-on, and it is connected to your Booksmatch profile. So everything that you do is actually tracked. You get awarded for skills, and then you have the opportunity to turn on your profile to outsiders. So in the work, so that we are actively sending out and recruiting, or like getting people to look at your profile, and they can hire you for jobs and to connect you with potential clients. So anyway, so all of your work in the gym is connected to Booksmatch. In Booksmatch, one of the things that we are tracking is your consistency. We want to make sure the people who are hiring, they want to make sure that you are actively working and actively looking for work and actively upskilling. And so we give you high marks if you are working, if you're adding skills at least every other week. And so for people who have completely finished all of the work in the gym, they still need something to work on to show that they are being consistent and that they are still open to work. And so that's why we have the exercise of the week, and that is not it. I think that I pulled up the wrong thing. Okay, so we will fix this in just a second. We'll fix that in just a second. So anyway, but the benefit of having the exercise of the week is if you're not a member of the gym, you get it free just by participating in the weekly live stream. So the exercise of the week, so we come right in here, and then Joel is going to post it in the chat for those of you who don't have the exercise of the week. The exercise of the week comes with the QBO Gym. And in order to unlock the exercise of the week, you have to have completed at least 250 points in the gym to unlock it, because you don't really need it until you're finished. But I know a lot of people like to work through it anyway, especially like on this call. So we unlock it for you there. So today we're talking about entering a bill. And so this is a very basic topic, and we're going to go over both the Intuit version and our version. So we're going to do two different exercises today. So the exercise of the week for the first half of the year, so we're wrapping up, we're almost done, is going through the Pro Advisor challenges that come with your QBOA account. So inside your QBOA account, if you go under Pro Advisor and then training, in the training library, I go to QuickBooks Online, and then we have all of these different tiles. And so inside there, Intuit provides these Pro Advisor challenges that are to kind of help you get some hands-on practice. Of course, they're not as detailed and as great as ours, but if you want to find it, so here we just went to Pro Advisor Training Library, QuickBooks Online, that's what we just did. The expenses and vendors tile is right here. And then this is a beginner skill. So you'll notice that there are beginner, intermediate, and advanced skills. The intermediate and advanced skills are the ones that are tested on the exam. So the intermediate skills, you can see this little icon. If I hover over it, it says tested in the QuickBooks Online exam. And then if I do the advanced and I hover over it, it says tested on the QuickBooks Online advanced exam. So what we're talking about today are some basic skills that you just have to know before you get any further. Okay. So in the beginner skills, and then under entering bills and recording bill payments. Entering bills and recording bill payments. Okay. If you go onto the right-hand side, you'll see that it says Advisor Challenge, Pro Advisor Challenge. Sometimes we can click on it and go straight there. We can't today for some reason. Let's see why. Just going to scroll through. Sometimes you have to pass a knowledge check before you get there. Okay, so today, the thing that's holding us back is a knowledge check. So when should a client record a bill in QuickBooks Online? When they pay for a product or service upfront, when they're paying for something using a credit card, when there's a time lag between purchase and payment, and when purchase is made and paid for at the same time. So the answer to this is when there's a time lag between purchase and payment, okay? So we have in QuickBooks Online an expense that is payment at the time of purchase. You go to Home Depot and you buy a hammer, you're paying for it at the moment that you buy it, okay? So then we would use an expense to do that transaction. If you, some things, you buy it and they send you a bill later, maybe your utilities, you get a monthly bill and you have a certain period of time before you have to pay it, okay? That's when you would enter a bill. It's important to understand the difference between a bill and an invoice. So in the regular world, we say that an invoice is the same as a bill. Oh yeah, an invoice is the same. But in QBO world, an invoice is something you send to a customer, and a bill is something you receive from a vendor. Okay, so a vendor is somebody you buy something from. A customer is somebody you sell things to. So a customer, you send out an invoice. A vendor, you receive a bill. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. And that is when there's a time lag between purchase and payment. Okay, so if I keep scrolling, now here is our Pro Advisor Challenge. They say the task, Craig has asked you to help him add a bill. And so the bill is, here's all the details of the bill. And then they just tell you what it should look like at the end. They don't actually tell you how to do it unless you go to the solution, in which case they have but there's no pictures or anything. So that's why we like ours better, which is when I clicked that, I went to the bill. And so this instead, we're going to go step by step through this. Now, we use a software called Scribe or Scribe How to create these exercises. And if you have the Scribe the Scribe Chrome extension loaded, and you're using this in Chrome, it also works in Brave for those of you who use Brave, then you can look at them side by side. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to load the sample company. So here I am in my QBO A account, my QBO accountant account. I can tell that it's accountant because it says accountant up here on the top, because this menu bar is gray and because it's separated from your practice and your books. Okay, so that's how I know I'm in an accountant account. From your accountant account, you can click the gear icon and then click sample company. You're going to be signed out of your account. So don't do this while you're taking the test because you will lose your progress in the test. If you're in our courses, we do teach you how to have them both open at the same time. But so like, make sure you know how to do that. All right. So now I'm in the sample company, and because I have the sample company open, I can go to my first step right here and click Guide Me. And when I click Guide Me, now it's going to show me my exercise and the sample company on the same page. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. And unfortunately, I cannot make that side bigger for you. I can only make the left side bigger. So hopefully you can see it, or Joel put it in the group so that you can see what it is. Joel, did you put in? Oh yeah, you put in the challenge, gym challenge. Anybody that wants to do that. Okay, good. All right. So here we are, and I will make this a little bit bigger here. Here, hopefully that's good for you guys. Okay, so we're in the sample company. Here again is our scenario. Craig has asked you to add him a bill, help him add a bill. The bill is for Lee Advertising. The payment is for 500 brochures. Craig already has an advertising account category set up. The total amount due for the bill is $1,500, and the payment terms are 30 days. That means payment terms means the amount of time that you have from when you receive the bill until you have to pay. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. From the left navigation bar, hover over expenses and then bills. Now, for those of you who have been using QBO for a while, you may know that you can hit plus and then you can select bill right there. This is just a different way to do it, and we're just going through the way that the Intuit exercise shows you how to do it. Okay, so they want you to, from the left navigation bar, hover over expenses, then click bills. Okay. All right, then we're going to click add bill and select create bill. Okay, and then in the exercise it says an alternative way to do it would be the plus new button. Okay, all right, so in the vendor field we're going to select Lee Advertising. Now if you're new, I can either scroll to find it right there, or I can start typing it, and there it is right there, Lee Advertising. Okay, in the terms field we're going to select net 30. Now, net 30 means, again, you have 30 days to pay this bill. Now, it's automatically going to put in today's date as the bill date. So if this were real, and we're going to leave that for now, but if this were a real life scenario, you would want to actually enter the date from the bill. And then notice what happens here is that QBO will automatically calculate, based on the fact that it's 30 days, it will automatically calculate the due date for you. If you had an actual bill in your hand, then you would also want to enter the bill number, but we don't have that in this example. So now we're going to enter the thing that we bought, the thing that's on the bill. Now, one thing that new people always get confused is the difference between category details and item details. So, and I know, like, I was the same too. I'm like, what the heck? What is this? And how do I know what to, what to do? The category details grid is when you are recording the information, when you're recording the transaction directly to an account on the chart of accounts. Okay. So if I select category, this is all of the accounts that I have set up on the chart of accounts. Item details is if I am going through an actual product or service. Okay. So when you are doing the opposite, when you're doing like an invoice for a customer, you're always going to have product and service because you're always selling a particular product and service. But when you're buying something, you're not necessarily going to keep track of the actual item that you're buying. So the only reason you would use this down here is if you want to track the number of that thing that you bought. Okay. So buying paper clips, are you going to put it in category details, just like as office supplies, or do you want to keep track of the number of paper clips that you bought? Okay. This is either going to be a a non-inventory product, which means that QBO is not keeping track of it's not keeping track of how many there are currently. It's not keeping track of the quantity of items and the value of that. Or if it's an inventory product, it is keeping track every time you buy one and sell one, so it knows how much you have in inventory. Okay. So in this case, this is not a product. So we're going to use, that's why we're using the category details here. So they've already told us that this is advertising. In the description field, we're going to put 500 brochures. And then in the amount field, we're going to type 1,500. Okay. So we're not keeping track of like the number of, like down here, if it were 500 brochures, you would say the quantity is 500 and then the rate for each of those is 300 and then the total or is $3 and then the amount would be 1,500. So if you can see, if you can see how this, you would track the quantity and rate. Here we're just doing the total amount. Okay. All right. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click the down arrow. We're going to click save and close. The bill transaction has been created. Let's take a look at how it shows up in the list of expenses. So we're going to go right here to expenses. I'm going to close some pop-ups because this is a sample company. And you can see that the bill that we just created is this first transaction right here in our list of expenses. Okay, so that's the exercise from Intuit. Well, you may notice, like, what is the next? What is the next thing that you have to do? Like, you don't just stop at entering a bill. You have to actually pay that bill. So how do we, like, Intuit's exercise just stops right there and leaves it hanging. Okay. So we have another exercise that we're going to go through that's going to actually show us how to pay the bill. And this is one of our free exercises in that I mentioned in the beginning. Okay. So if I go to, I've got to go back to our Facebook group, which is where, no. Where is our Facebook group? Do I have to pull that up again? Hmm. Switch to this tab. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So if I go to, I talked about how in the locker room, you click on the 100 free hands-on exercises. Okay. And then here is the link to the exercises. And then here, we're actually going to do another exercise, which is this one, add and pay a bill. So if I click here, it's going to put the exercise kind of in this tiny screen. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to click maximize. And there we have it. And I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to put it on the other one that we were using that has our QBO already set up. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do this exercise here. And we're going to talk about how to actually pay a bill. Okay. So Intuit's exercise just showed us how to add a bill. Let's see how to pay a bill. Okay. So we're already in the sample company. Okay. Oh, let's read the scenario. Scenario is Craig just received the bill from his bookkeeper, Bessie. He needs to add and pay the bill. Okay. So let's see how we're going to do that. The first step is to enter the bill, and we're going to pull it up side by side here. I saw somebody asking the question about the side by side. It is a Chrome extension called Scribe How. Okay. So here is, oh, look. Because I'm not on Facebook, I can use the chat. Chrome extension equals Scribe How. So I cannot teach you how to load I can't teach you how to do a Chrome extension. Okay. All right. Alrighty. So, sorry, I just got distracted there for a minute. Okay. All right. So now we have the first step is to enter the bill. So this time we're going to do it from click plus new. So we're going to go plus click plus, and then select bill. I got my thing covered up there. Okay. We don't have a pop-up this time. Okay. So in the vendor field, we're going to select Books by Bessie. Okay, Books by Bessie. Okay, now leave the terms and bill date fields as is. In a real life scenario, you could adjust both as needed. Okay, so this is what we were talking about last time. Now, notice something different happened than what happened with Lee. So with Bessie, we have paid bills for her in the past. And so because of that, Intuit is saying, hey, do you want this to be the same as last time? Okay. And this is actually a setting in accountant settings, whether you want that to pop up automatically. Okay. All right. So, and that's just what that says, as is. Okay, so we're saying, yep, actually it is going to be the same. So this time we're going to, again, hit save and close. In this exercise, it automatically defaults to save and schedule payment. And the reason that mine doesn't say that right now is because in the last exercise, I changed it. So Lynn Schwab, we just want to let you know that your camera is on. So you might not realize that your camera is on, and I don't have the ability to turn off people's cameras. I only have the ability to mute you. So anyway, alrighty. So we are okay, so back to the exercise. So that's the reason I was saying it doesn't say save and schedule payment. It says save and close. So we're going to hit save and close. Okay. All right. Now, the two bills that we just created are now out there waiting to be paid. Okay. Same as there's also some other bills that are out there waiting to be paid. Okay, so let's pay the bills. Now, there's a number of ways to do this, but what we're going to do this time is we're going to go to click plus new, and we're going to select pay bills. Okay. All righty. And in the payment field, okay, so this is a list of all of the bills that are currently out there waiting to be paid. And you can see here at the bottom are the two that we just added, Books by Bessie and Lee Advertising. You notice that they're in order of due date. Even though we added Books by Bessie second, you remember that that one was only the 15 days net. Okay. And then the 30 days was the one for Lee Advertising. That's why those are separate. Okay. So what we're going to do in this exercise is we're going to pay the Books by Bessie one. And then I'm going to show you Lynn Schwab. You need to know that your camera is on. I don't know, maybe she doesn't have sound on either. Okay. Alrighty. So, okay. So I got distracted. Okay, here we go. In the payment method, okay. Oh, I know what I was saying. I was saying that we're going to pay the Books by Bessie one here, and then I'm going to pay the other one a different way because we talked about it 2 weeks ago. So this is kind of a different thing. Lynn Schwab, your camera is on, just so you know. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. I think we're getting that taken care of. Just put a book over the camera, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All righty. So, all right. So much. Okay. So we are going back to the exercise. In the payment account field, we're selecting checking. Okay, payment account, we're selecting checking. Okay, click the checkbox next to Books by Bessie. And then notice when we did that, the $75 that she owed is automatically put in there. Now we can change it. So maybe she didn't, or maybe we're not paying her whole thing. Maybe we're not paying the whole thing at once, and so we're just paying $50 now, so we can change that. Or maybe we're paying in advance. We could do that too. But notice that when I check it, it automatically populates that. Okay. So now we're going to hit the down arrow and we're going to hit save and close. Now, this is really important. So what I'm doing right now is not actually paying the bill. I am recording the bill payment. Okay, so we're saying, oh, we paid this bill and I'm recording it. If I want to actually pay the bill using QuickBooks Online, that's when I use schedule payment. And schedule payment works with, it used to be Melio. Now they've gotten rid of Melio, and now they've gone to something called QB payments, QuickBooks payments. So you have to sign up for QuickBooks payments in order to use that feature to pay the bills. So that's a different, paying the bills and recording paying the bills are two different things. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit save and close. So those are our two exercises today. But I wanted to go back and talk about 2 weeks ago, not last week, because last week was pre-recorded because I was at a conference. Last week I talked about vendor credit. Okay, so if you had a bill out there and the vendor gave you credit, set maybe what you have, maybe what you purchased got damaged or under warranty or something, and so the vendor gave you credit to apply toward a bill. That's what we talked about last week in the pre-recorded live stream. Okay, 2 weeks ago we talked about writing checks. Okay, now when you write a check, I'm going to take off the screen share because this is really important. When you are writing a check, using the check feature in QuickBooks Online, that transaction is an expense. Okay, an expense, remember I said in the beginning, is payment at the time of service. So payment at the time of service, you go buy a hammer at Home Depot, that's when you use an expense transaction. When you use the check transaction in QBO, then that's creating an expense. So this is a huge, huge problem because it's confusing to business owners. And so they frequently will create the bill and then use the check transaction to write the check, but then that ends up with duplicate expenses because you have the bill out there in accounts payable says you still owe all of this money, and the check out there that says, oh, you paid this money. Okay, so and you have bills that look like they're overdue, but maybe they're not. This is a huge problem. In fact, if you are in our cleanup course and you do the final project, this is one of the key things in the final project. Okay, so this happens all the time. So you as the bookkeeper have to be clear in your mind how to use a check transaction. So let's talk about how we would use a check to pay a bill. So here is so Rebecca in the chat gave us a big groan. That's because she has done the final the final project in the cleanup course. So she knows, like, it's a pain, but that's what cleanups are. Cleanups are a pain, and that's why we get paid a lot of money for them. So anyway, all right, so let's take a look at, so we have that Lee advertising bill out there. We have some other bills too, but let's see how we could pay it with a check. Okay. So the first thing is that new in QuickBooks Online, if I go to write a check and I put, oh, let me get rid of the exercise. We're done with the exercise. Okay. So if I go to write a check and I put in the vendor, Lee Advertising, it's going to say, oh, hey, there's a bill out there. Are you writing this check for this bill? And if you say yes, if you click add, oh yeah, in fact, I am, okay, then it turns it into a bill payment. Do you see what happened? I'm still sharing, right? Do you see what happens right there? It turned it into a bill payment, okay? So that is, that's one way to record, to do it correctly. You should recognize this. If you watch the recording from last week, you'll notice if there were a vendor credit, it would be listed down here also. This is like how you are paying this bill. You can pay it. This is the bill here, and you could also see the bill payment that could apply to this bill. Okay, so that's one way. The other way is to go into the bill. Let's do it from expenses. And here's our bills. This is kind of confusing because it says no bills to review. Review is when you are using the import feature to import bills. That's a little bit more advanced. We're not going to talk about that. So, but I'm going to go to my unpaid bills here. And I go to, here's the Lee advertising one. Let's see what this little down arrow does. Yeah, so I could do mark as paid right here. Or if I go into Lee advertising and I go to that bill, I can check mark as paid right here. And when I go to mark as paid, so I'm doing the bill payment, and this reference number right here is what you would use for the check number. Okay, so this, notice it says bill payment number 72. Let me do the other way again. The other way again was to write a check, say that it was Lee, and add this. Okay, so right now I'm writing a check number 72. See this right here? I'm going to add this and it's going to change it. It's no longer check number 72, it's bill payment 72. But that number 72, this is what you're using to keep track of the check. Okay. Now we do, there was a cool thing we learned in the cleanup course. I can't remember how, if they did actually write the check separately from the bill, you can easily smush them together. I can't remember now off the top of my head how to do that, but anyway, so very, very important that you understand checks and bill payments. All right, so that's it for our exercises. Now, at the end of the, once you have done the exercise, no, not this one, okay? In the gym, when you are working on, when you're working through the gym, you earn marketing prompts, okay? And you earn those and the reason we have marketing prompts is because so many people tell me that that they know that they need to talk themselves up on social media, but they never know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Okay, that's what I hear. So we developed these marketing prompts as part of the gym and then as part of the exercise of the week now also, because the exercise of the week is part of the gym. We developed these marketing prompts so that you can go out and you have something to say. So Joel, go ahead and put today's marketing prompt. So here's what you can say about this exercise that you just did, okay? So you learned about entering bills. Here's a sample post. Hey, business owner, not all business expenses are recorded the same in QuickBooks Online. Do you know the difference between a bill and an expense? You guys know now, right? The difference between a bill and expense. Do you know when to use the category grid versus the items grid? You guys know now the difference between a category grid and items grid, okay? If things seem a bit muddy to you, I'm happy to provide some clarity. Ping me today. Now, I didn't put in the marketing prompt about the checks that we just talked about because the exercise itself doesn't go into the checks. That was just a bonus, like while we're talking today, okay? So, anyway, so then the next question becomes, how do we use these marketing prompts? And in the interest of time, so normally what I do at this point in the live stream is I talk about the 3-2-1 method of how to use these marketing prompts. We are not a marketing company. We're a training company. In fact, we're not even a training. I always say we're not a training company. We're a doing company because we are all about hands-on practice in QuickBooks Online. That's what we want. We want you to do it. So, but because people are always, whoa, sorry about that. But because people are always asking us for help, we have one method that we promote, and it is the 3-2-1 method, which we use by permission from a company called Bold House. And we have we have updated it for our own purposes, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, usually I go over that today, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to put it in the chat here. So you guys can grab that and you can watch that and learn how to use these marketing prompts to use these marketing prompts to get, people to know, like, and trust you and get their attention. Okay. All right, guys, I am so delighted at how many of you stuck with me through all of the technical errors and issues that we have had today. You guys are rock stars. Are there any questions that I missed in the chat? Let's see. Russell asked about having them in the same screen. Okay, we talked about that. Google Chrome browser, Scribe How. And let's see, any other questions about the gym? Okay, great improvising today, Margie. Whew, yes, thinking on my feet. Thinking on my feet. All right. If there are no other questions, then have a wonderful week. So on a weekend, holiday weekend, on Monday, oh, Victoria says, wait. Okay. So on Monday, it is a holiday, but I am still going to do the Monday. I am still going to do Monday Mindset. It's the last one in the series that we've been doing. I did forget to post the recording from this week, so I will do that today so you guys can watch it and catch up, because you do really need to have been through the entire series. And so that's going to be on Monday. It's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern. Yes, I know it's a holiday. Yes, I know you guys have barbecues and, all of that stuff going on, but I like to stay true to my word and like be there for you, especially since this was a series. So then on next Friday, hopefully our technical issues will have worked themselves out, and I have a very special day planned next Friday. So I really, really hope a very special exercise, let me say. So, and it's a little, it is super advanced. So I know we just kind of go between basic and advanced. I have to take care of everybody. We have everybody in our community. So, so anyway, so next week it's going to be a little bit more advanced. I'm super excited about it though. And hopefully we won't have all these technical issues we'll have worked out. Don't be surprised if you see me like playing around in the Facebook group trying to get the live events to work. If you see me hopping on live, chances are it's not real. If I didn't announce it, it's not real. It's just me figuring out the technical stuff. So anyway, alrighty. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys. Oh, do you offer Pro Advisor course for QB Desktop? No, QB Desktop is going away. So yeah, so no, that's not going to happen. Sorry, Keely. Yeah, so you haven't heard that it's going away? It is enterprise training. You're talking about desktop enterprise. No, I think that's going away too. Like they still have QB Enterprise just until QBO Advanced has all of the features that enterprise needs. So that seems to be like what we think is that is that they're just developing QBO Advanced, the advanced certification level to they're trying to get rid of it. What happens to the desktop users? I don't work for Intuit. I don't know what's going to happen. They're just trying to get everybody on QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online is the future. You'll still be able to use desktop. They're just not updating it anymore. And eventually they're not going to support it anymore. So Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else? Anything else? Okay. All right. All right. All right. I need to catch up. Okay. Have a great weekend. All right. Okay. All righty. Let me just write down one thing real quick. All righty. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. You guys have a great weekend, great holiday. I'll see you Monday, maybe. Maybe some of you guys aren't having a barbecue, and I will see you Friday for sure. All right. Talk to you later. Can't wait to hear your success story.